Hello, what's up, my people? This is Gatos FX. And today I'm very much excited and extremely happy with this trade, which has just been taken in alignment with all of the criteria with zone to zone strategy. And this trade, I have had analysis yesterday on Tuesday. The entry was taken yesterday. Today is Wednesday. It has just hit TP2 with a profit of one pips of 185 pips, 1 to 6 risk to reward ratio, and I set a stop loss of only 28 pips. Like literally, you could see where price was yesterday. So you see here, it was yesterday, 9 past 15 a.m. East Africa hours. So we have had a good pattern of head and shoulder here from 4 hours time frame, and this was the little lower time frame I have had speculated in the point of interest and entry point based on 4 hours liquidity, which was the neckline of the head and shoulder, and we have had 5%, 50% fib level from the daily highs to the lows. But when we took another swing point from the 4 hours time frame, it was a precise 78% fib level. Then now let's get back to the top-down analysis to see the correlation of the timeframes and so forth and other criteria that were used to actually take this trade. Now, normally I'd like to start with the monthly time frame. Starting with the monthly time frame, what we could perhaps see is that, so perhaps we see here from the monthly time frame, this market is having a major structure bullish. Structure is bullish. If we start here, this July 2022, it is trending highs by creating higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. So eventually, this zone here is the zone of business. This is the latest or most recent area where we have to consider taking the trade. It's either this market will buy and create a new higher high, or retrace up to this opening price of the monthly time frame, or even break it down, shift the structure, and reversing the trend from continuing being bullish and now going to be bearish. But that's the first thing that we have seen. So now we look at the time frame correlation. You see that monthly time frame, this market is bullish in terms of structure. But what about the minor structure? You should be able to distinguish it between the major structure and the minor structure. The minor structure is what's happening now. The minor structure is what's happening now in this recent time frame. If you look at the line chart, you will perhaps see this market is bearish. It's making lower low, lower high, lower low. So we need to have a lower high to continue to sell to the downside. So monthly major structure is bullish, while monthly minor structure. And then just go to the weekly time frame and add more meaning. Now we know the scope of business, the zone of business where we are dealing with. We know that we are dealing with this area. We'll consider what's happening now as much more important. When we're looking at this weekly time frame, you see the minor structure or major structure. Of course, it will be a major structure because this structure has been formed since April this year. To date, this market is maintaining this bearish trend. You had a lower low, lower high. Highs of structure from the weekly time frame has been tested with this inverted hammer and an evening star. This is always reversal confirmation, which is giving us a new lower low, a lower high. Again, here we have a lower low. Price came to retest at the opening price of the evening star from the weekly time frame reversal pattern. leaving the shadow or hanging wicks hanging above, and all candles opening price were closing under. So this was a significant point to tell us now what we see from the weekly time frame is becoming bearish in alignment with the monthly minor structure. So you see now, weekly time frame, we are having a bearish structure, which is so good. It moves in alignment, or it moves in sync with what's happening in the monthly time frame. So at least up to this point, we have two time frames moving together. We have minor structure of the monthly time frame bearish, as well as the major structure from the weekly time frame being bearish. Now let's go and look at the day time frame and add more meaning, right? Now when we come to the daily time frame, here is what we see, that the daily time frame is bullish. Here people could ask me, how would you say that this daily time frame is bullish? Look at this trend. Look at this trend. You had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Eventually, we have a shift of a structure here, and this market is creating an outside formation. If you look at the line chart, you will perhaps see a very good shift of structure in an outside formation. So the selling which I took was just to retest this outside formation. That's why this outside formation is very important to close this trade, because you never know, it might take the market up to the upside, right? But the other thing which gave us a confluence that we are going to sell, but because remember, today is just Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. This is Wednesday. This is yesterday's when the end was triggered, and this is Monday's candle. So when you look at on the weekend, Friday's candle was an inverted hammer or pin bar, which retested the highs of the weekly time frame, which were the morning star from the weekly time frame, as well as it came to retest the previous highs or liquidity engineering from the daily time frame. That's why we have had this very good pin bar as a reversal pattern. So now I'm looking to take a sales trade, but in terms of time frames correlation with respect to the structure, you see now daily time frame is going reversal with the other time frames because it is bullish. Then let's go to the weekly to the 4 hours time frame and add more meaning. So here is where all of the things took place. Here is where all of the confluence and the finalization of this trade took place from the 4 hours time frame. Now, I was just looking at the structure. Remember, we have had a daily time frame pin bar here, which came to retest the opening price of the morning star from the weekly time frame, which were allocated at the highs of the structure from the weekly time frame. So everything was a reversal. That means all this bullish trend was merely reversal. So now we have to ask ourselves, with this reversal over, see, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Eventually, you have the left head, right shoulder, shift of structure, and a reversal pattern, which is what? Head and shoulder, something which I discovered it yesterday. So we have had this left head, right shoulder. We have had a zone here. So we're waiting for the break and retest at the neckline of the head and shoulder. So here's where I just formed this trade. It was very much easy. Just requires patience, a little bit of patience to wait for the price to come to your setup. Now let's recognize the presence of the left head and what? And the right shoulder here. All right. So that was a number one confluence. Yes, we have this neckline of the head and shoulder. You have the neckline of the head and shoulder here, where we anticipate that this price will come to retest. Okay. Then from that one, I have had to take my fib level. I know that this price is coming to this day time frame lows of structure, but it was nearly a TP2 from the fib level, because taking this a fib from this swing high is here to this swing low, we have had what? A very perfect 78% fib level at the area of interest, where we also have the neckline of the 4 hours head and shoulder at the daily time frame broken support zone. So we anticipate it becomes now a new resistance. You see TP1, TP2, the price has just hit now is 184 and 85 pips. So it's so much with so much precise, so much good, and it reflects what's happening in the markets. So it is what it is. We are going to look for the next opportunity because
Power off.
the week is still going on. All right, the end of this episode marks the beginning of the new one. See you next time. This is Gbpaud FX.